101, just 1 minute, a little bit longer. Welcome back to another episode of the Minute with Stoney Stone and
Stoney Stone, Erik Time Hatter.
Erik Time Hatter. Music. When you watch this post production, you're going to see a video and some music. Roots Man Project. We worked on a video. We did a music video for these guys last year. It was this year sometime.
No, it was last year.
It was last year. Yeah. So last year we did a video. I will post that. You can watch this video post production, but right now
you can't watch it. That was a really fun project at Ace of Spades in Sacramento.
Was it? Yeah, Ace of Spades. Yeah, that was cool.
First time I got a film there.
First time I ever been there.
Was, That's right.
It was very.
You've never been there before.
Yeah, it was a very interesting venue in Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so check out this music video, and then yeah, there you go.
Yes. Sacramento, how are you feeling? Are you ready for some reggae music? I said, are you ready for some reggae music? Drugs and disease is fun. System is gone so wrong. Down in the Babylon. Southern gets on, so living on the street. This one goes, this one calling home. Mama said, this man drugs on rampant up, see where they want. Yes, man, no, this man will give up, you don't know that you bring no fun. Yes, man, government, so against it. This take more and more with the poor man, nothing else. I say, well, time to put down the guns, put down the knives. Unity because we only have one God. Time to live your life righteous. Lift up your grudges. Decision in life. We live in the last days. Repent. Tell John.
Halloween. We just finished Halloween. How was your Halloween?
Oh, I love Halloween.
Me too.
Halloween's my favorite time of year. We had a lot of different scary skeletons and things that were creepy on our porch this year. Put a red light in the front window to let people know it was okay to come up and ask for candy.
A red light means it's okay?
Well, I mean, you know, spooky red, like murder.
Oh, I mean, when I was a kid, a red light meant that was like, you know, something else. It was more than candy. I mean,
That wasn't when you were a kid.
well, I mean,
That
I
was when you
remember.
were like working for big tech.
I just knew that the red light district was the red light meant something else, and apparently, I guess they've taken that now. Red
It's
light means
Halloween.
it's okay to do
It's
Halloween.
Halloween.
I don't put a red light out. I just put out the whole thing. I mean, for me, Halloween is I want the kids crying. It's Halloween. I want to scare them. I had so many little kids that would come up to the front and then just leave. They wouldn't even come. We had so much candy left over because.
Oh, no.
But I mean, it's Halloween. Come on. I don't want a like cutesy little Halloween thing. I want scary. I want it to be, you know, and ours isn't that scary. It's pretty scary, but not like some other things I've seen.
Right.
Ours is middle of the road. You know,
I mean, you're
budget.
definitely decorated for Halloween.
We're decorated. We're not.
I wouldn't
like,
necessarily call it scary, but
Yeah.
you're definitely decorated for Halloween. And honestly, like, that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
As long as you're decorated for Halloween.
But I started looking at prices of some of the stuff that's really scary. It's like really creepy, and I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm doing this on a budget. That's too much money. I don't need. And then Jill's like, how much was that dry ice?
Don't
It was $80.
don't worry about that price.
Think
Don't worry
the
about that
kids.
guy.
We got so many compliments though on the dry ice because it bowled out of the bucket and it spread out like fog, and then you throw the fog machine on top of that. So you know we had some really cool effects. That you know we may not be the scariest house, but we had some cool effects with music and all kinds of things going on. And this year I did not fall off the ladder. Just take note. You might find that viral video out there. I made somebody's viral video.
That was a fun video. That was a good one. I watch it every now and then just for good measure.
Yeah. So Halloween and daylight savings time. We gained an hour. So what do you think about daylight savings, Eric? I know we talked about this earlier.
Oh, don't get me started on daylight savings time. Anytime someone has tried to explain to me daylight savings time and why it's a good thing, it always sounds like the stupidest thing in the world. It's like, that is a terrible plan. You plan bad. I hate it. Why do we have to jump? Why do we have to jump? Like, we already have it where the sun's already getting shorter, and then all of a sudden it's like, shorter. Why? Why do it? Just change the hours of when you want to be open or when you want school to start, whatever. But like,
Arizona did it.
it's the morning fucking people.
The
Morning people are oppressive and only think for themselves, and they shame people who look after them during the night and make sure they don't get eaten by wildlife. Fuck the early risers, and I point directly at you because
Me, I get
luckily
up at
you
4.
still smoke at 4:20, so
It's AM
you're
or PM. It don't matter.
Yeah. So you instantly like nullify yourself. But the shame that happens to like people who like to stay out late, which, you know, we evolved two sets of people who like to wake up early and then people who stayed up late because back in, you know, out in the wilderness, then you have a 24-hour shift of people watching everybody's back.
True.
And then why do we have to fuck with daylight savings? It's a sham. It's a capitalist scam, and I hate it. California voted, what was it, 6 years ago to, go ahead.
6 years ago to what?
To get rid of daylight savings time. It was voted on by the people overwhelmingly. It just needed the legislation just to file the paperwork to make it happen, and they haven't done it. And I hate them. Why? Why, Stoney? Why do we have daylight savings time? It makes no sense at all. I hate it.
I think
it can burn in a fire.
I like to see your passion. you're passionate about daylight savings. I agree. It's a complete waste, and it's you watch the news, and every daylight savings time on the news, they start talking about all the health effects on people by having this. There's no need. It's like, but we still do it. I don't get it. It's just we can put it to a
Well,
vote.
now Skynet's doing it for us, because before we had to actually go and change the clocks forward or backwards, but now it's just Skynet. Like our phones and all of our wirelessly connected connections, just, oh, look, you don't even know that it changed.
But
Until
my
you go in your
microwave
car
is
and you're
still
like,
on.
fuck, I'm running super late.
So Eric borrowed my car a while back, and he's like, I understand. You got like 3 clocks in here, and none of them are the right time. I'm like, I don't pay attention to those clocks. I just look at the one on my phone, the Skynet one, right? Yeah. So we can put all that to a vote. Which, speaking of voting, I know we're not going to go politics, but tomorrow is a big day in our country where we as United States citizens get to go vote on our next leader of our country. So regardless of where you fall, I think it's just going to be a shit show no matter what. So hold on, everybody, and let's see where this is going to go. I don't even know what to say. But yeah, that's all I want to say about politics. We'll move on from there. You agree?
Yes, good. Let's move on. Move on.
Let's get out of
I was
here.
told there was not going to be talks of politics tonight. I was lied to.
I didn't talk.
Lied
I
to
just said
people.
there was.
He is a liar.
What's on your mind this week? What's going on? What happened?
As I predicted with driving with Stoning, you get really crazy driving in the heat because heat does really crazy things to people's minds.
Okay.
And the second it cooled down, a lot of the driving settled down as well. It's a pretty interesting phenomenon.
So you think heat makes bad drivers?
No, not just drivers, just everything. People get crazy when it's hot out. People do really crazy shit.
It's these weak Californians out here because we can't.
What do you mean?
Can't deal with the cold. Can't deal with the heat. So now when it gets too damn cold and it's 60 degrees and they start whining that it's too cold, they had to turn their heater on. They're gonna be all driving crazy again, right? No.
Yeah.
I talk like I'm not a Californian. I'm
Right?
You're
from the Bay Area, little transplant.
Hey, I was born in Colorado.
I mean, granted, you've been in Sacramento for the actual heat.
It's
Now that's super heat.
It's been pretty freaking hot. What do you think? Yeah, it's been hot. Yeah, Jill's going. Yeah, it's hot. Hey, our studio audience grown. Instead of just one person, we have one person and 2 dogs. Hey, we're getting better. In 4 or 5 hours. Can only go up from here, Eric. So driving with Stony Stones, calm down a little bit, but I think you got enough content going out. I gave you something today. I actually posted a picture on driving with Stony Stone of. I couldn't believe it. We went to the doctor, and I don't remember what kind of car it was. I think it was one of those new Broncos or something.
It's a Rivian.
Was it a Rivian?
Oh, yeah, that's exactly.
It had to be a hybrid freaking person. At least it wasn't a Tesla. But
no,
they parked.
It's full electric
but they
truck.
took up 2 spots. I'm like, there's no need. I mean, I had my truck, and I'm like, I drove around the parking lot 2 or 3 times just to find a spot that the truck was going to fit in without being a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this guy taking up 2 spots. I'm like, what an ass. So yes, go look at Driving with Stony Stone. You will see his little Rivian, whatever the hell that gay ass, or sorry, I can't say that. Whatever that.
Oh, Gen Xer, you little Gen Xer. Boo,
Hey,
boo, 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 this man.
I'm fucking canceled
Boo
already.
you. No, we won't get canceled because I'm booing you.
You're booing me. I apologize.
Boo.
I did not mean to
Update your vocabulary.
Anybody that is offended by that
Gen
shit.
X.
But you know what I'm saying. Whoever drives those cars, whatever
They're
you
dipshits.
Dipshits, I like that.
Yeah.
I can call you a dipshit. I just can't call you gay.
Well, you can call you gay if the person likes butt sex.
Okay, this is going a different direction, but yes.
If you mean that the person is being a dipshit, the proper term for it is dipshit.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I have to go. So now we're getting a different direction. We're going off script here, but that's all right because
We had a script.
no, I did in my head. I had notes. I had notes, but we talk about the whole thing. So Gen X, when you said you were gay, you were gay. It didn't matter if you were black, white, whatever. It didn't matter, boy, girl, anything. Gay was gay. It was as simple as that.
But what was
Very
the meaning
simple.
behind it? What was the meaning behind
Well,
it?
the problem is
The meaning was that you're using it in a negative slur. It's not like you're using it as an identifier. You're using it in a way, in a negative way.
So I'll give you that. Back in that time period, yes, you're absolutely right. But now we have to end up breaking down into different titles. Not only is it gay, but now you're a lesbian, transgender, whatever, all the LBGTQ, all of those. But don't they all just equal you're gay? But now we've just labeled it and defined it a little more. But at the end of the day,
well,
I'm just trying to understand. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm just trying to understand my ignorant person that I am as a Gen Xer, and just trying to make sense of it is all I'm saying. I'm not making judgment. I'm trying to make sense.
I think the more umbrella term you're looking for
a rainbow
is
umbrella.
Queer.
Okay.
Because I feel queer is the more just open-ended, like
covers all bases.
You don't really like get too finely described into one thing or the other. Everything's on a spectrum.
So is queer more acceptable than anything else?
Well, I mean, it depends. Are you using it in a positive annotation or are you using it in negative annotation?
I guess that's up to interpretation.
Have you ever seen the movie Joe Dirt?
Probably.
With David Spade.
I must have.
So there's a line in it where Kid Rock is trying to talk shit to Joe Dirt, and his buddy, played by Christopher Walken, is like, "Hey, your tone's all wrong. You're talking to my friend here, and your tone's all wrong. I'll stab you with the screwdriver." And that's what I mean about tone. Like, you're just using the wrong tone.
I agree.
Words have definitions, and how you present them in tone will adjust the
but even
definition.
with tone, there's certain words that you can't even say anymore, regardless of tone. It really boils down to race.
Well, then it's like, why do you want to say it? Because you're just saying it to be hurtful and harmful. And do you want to be known as a hurtful and harmful person?
No.
See, exactly. So why say it? Why use it? Why care? There's like how many words in the English language?
The one
you know the purpose for language
is to communicate.
Is to woo women.
To woo women.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Language is there to woo women, and there's a whole selection of language out there. Get creative with it, get sexy with it, get funny with it. You don't need to be a dipshit about it.
You know, that makes actually a lot of sense when you think about it. Because,
nailed it.
Well, because you think about language, right? It's not just what's spoken language. There's all kinds of language. There's body language. There's your love language. There's Spanish. I'm just saying. But no, you nailed it, right? You got to know the language. And so that kind of brings up something I wrote. I don't know why I wrote it down as a topic. It just says relationships with a question mark.
Relationships with a question mark?
Yeah, relationships.
What do you mean relationship with a question
mark? Well, that's what I wrote. Relationships with a question mark, meaning relationships is tone, right? It wasn't relationship. It was relationships. And then have that as a topic.
What relationship are you questionable about right now? And should I be flattered or offended?
Well, Jill's looking at me like, what the hell? Where did this go? No, I'm just saying relationships, whether business relationships, personal relationships, friend relationships, just relationships came to mind today.
Relationship show?
No, I don't know. I'm just.
I mean, it is a season for Hallmark movies.
Oh, so get this.
The new lineup for this year. I am really excited for. Honestly,
are you really?
No joke. Like,
oh my God,
I could get down with some like going home to the small town and like reconnecting with your high school, like whatever. I may or may not done that a couple times, but
So I don't know what happened in the last, and I think I know what happened. Is Jill's sister came out from North Carolina, South Carolina, I was forgetting North Carolina, and must have taught Jill's mom how to use the DVR because she would hardly have anything recorded. Every once in a while, she would record something.
right.
Now, for whatever reason, it's like she's recording everything, and it's the Hallmark Channel. So I go there, and it's Christmas here, Christmas in the park, Christmas in town, Christmas in a small town, Christmas, and it's just,
It's so
and-
good.
and
It's
it
so good.
fills
It's
up
so
the
good.
DVR completely with Christmas shows. And I'm asking Jill,
Yeah.
like, what is up with the Christmas shows? I'm like, does she delete them? Does she not delete them? So now what I do is every time it says watched, I just go delete, 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 delete. She hasn't said anything yet. So
She needs her own little, her own holiday profiles.
Oh,
Like,
dude.
use this profile to watch all of your Hallmark stuff, and then it'll just keep suggesting more new Hallmark movies every year when they come out. And then
So-
that's on her profile, not your profile. It's not messing with your algorithm.
Well, you can come over anytime you want, and you can sit down and sit in Grandma's massage chair and watch Hallmark with her. She'd love the company. You two will get along perfectly as she knits away watching Hallmark. You can watch your Hallmark, and you guys can have your little tissues together and have a moment.
Yeah, I can do that.
But yes, but the problem is she.
Oh,
feels
maybe we
something-
should have one of these weeks have a watch party.
Oh, watch
And
that.
like where we set up the cameras and watch a Hallmark movie, and
Oh,
we
shit.
like. Oh, so is she a very like when we're watching a movie, everyone needs to be quiet, don't say anything, don't do anything, or is she one of the people that you can talk through a movie?
She's the kind of person at the moment is she puts these headphones on, and she watches TV with the headphones while she knits away, and everything else is oblivious to her. And she actually walks around the house with the headphones on, listening to. She doesn't want to miss a beat of her Hallmark.
Oh yeah, you can't miss a beat of it.
Yeah,
no.
but I don't think I've ever interrupted her during it. I do have to get her attention, like when it's dinner time or something. To like, I've like stood right in front of her, and she's just oblivious to anything. But I think that's just old age. We all get that.
I mean, I know with my family, we do movie nights often, and we're always talking a whole bunch of like narrative while the movie's playing. It's a lot of good fun,
And I think
especially if
we
it's
would-
movies that like everyone's like seen before. That's important because I have a very natural way of predicting what's happening in a movie. So like I'll be watching a movie and be like, oh, it'll be really funny if this leads to this. And then it leads to that. And so the kids watching it with me start to think, oh, wait, Eric's watched this movie before. Like I can confirm if this is right or not. And they like start spoiling the movie. I'm like, I'm guessing here. I'm guessing. I'm not sure if this is going to happen, but I'm just commenting on what's happening right now in the movie. And so always have to make sure we've watched the movie before so we can just openly talk shit about the whole thing without spoilers.
But see, Jill likes. I like watching movies with Jill that I've like watched 100 times, and she hasn't seen them for whatever reason. We have like two very different childhoods, like totally like I don't even know how we even got together. We're so opposite sometimes. But when it comes to movies, it's like, and she'll like be amazed. I'll like remember every word of a movie, or I always like, oh, this is what's gonna happen next. And it's not because I'm predicting it; it's because I've seen it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's not even fun watching movies with you. 'Cause you just always gotta just repeat, and she's amazing how I can remember all that useless stuff.
Oh yeah, we like yelling out different or saying the lines before they hit or
Yeah,
whatnot,
I do
especially
that
when
too.
it's a very like dramatic scene. Or we just have like bits that we use like over and over again. Like we were watching Bridgerton. Bridgerton is a lovely show, and
This is where I don't even know what the hell Bridgerton is.
to get through like all the like sexual parts, the girls started to say like, "Oh, this is just Eloise's like, sexy dream. Like she's just dreaming this right now about her sister and this other guy. Like it's not real. But now we have the saying of anytime something sexual is on screen or someone's like being real flirty, it's all like, oh, Eloise. Because it's just really Eloise's sexual like dream fantasies. And we say it for all the shows. It's just a bit now.
I get it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Very different. Very different than mine.
Oh yeah, when if we ever watch a movie together, I'll get you in on it.
We're gonna have to try.
You'll get it.
I'll get it. I have to learn. I'm open. I'm open to new things, Eric.
I know.
We're not back to that relationship thing, are we? Jill's like shaking her. What are you saying?
Yeah, we're still at relationship question mark. What's relationship?
We got off onto a tangent like we normally do. No, but relationships, I just wrote it down. I don't know why. You know, I find it interesting when I look at the relationships I've had with different people, whether they're friends, family, what have you, and I did some research a while ago to figure out. You know, I kept trying to figure out why relationships like end, or why relationships stay together, or why you have a friend that you can have for forever, or why do marriages end so soon? Mm-hmm. And it was kind of interesting. It says most long-term relationships, or I was like looking up what is a long-term relationship, and they said anything over 5 years. Most relationships end within 5 years. Whether it's a marriage, whether it's a friend or whatever, it's like 5 year was kind of like the number, and it was like, and they went through explanations of like the whole lust part, and it wears off, and usually within 5 years that's gone off, and you move, or your interests change and you like go different directions. It's always like 5 years. So once you make past 5 years, then you probably have a chance of things are mainly gonna possibly work out, but from just a statistical standpoint,
It's very interesting.
That is kind of
only
interesting.
5. I mean,
because I
feel 5 years is pretty long. Like after 5 years, there's obviously like something going right.
Right. So you either make new connections in that 5 year period, and the ones that you made in that period, you stay because you've stayed connected and you have a common, you think alike, or you have the same interest, or you have there's some common ground that keeps you. It's a lot of times that common ground disappears and the friendship fades, or you move, or something something else happened in your life that caused you to now kind of separate.
Right.
And they all take work, no matter what. If you don't put the work into any relationship, it's not going to work. Whether it's a marriage, whether it's your dog, whether it's your best friend, whether it's a work. It's a two-way thing. It's a give and take. It's a a lot of people just don't want to put that work in, and that's why you see like within 5 years, whether you're still going to be friends or not. And I kind of thinking about that in the fishing community when I started getting into fishing and making friends and not knowing anybody and trying to navigate the real world of fishing and then the internet world of fishing.
Yeah.
And then you meet people, and then the crossover happens where you kind of meet them on Facebook or social media or something, which a lot of people do nowadays. So there's no reason why old Barts can't be out there meeting people, not to date, but to share a common interest with. And that's what I did. I found people that knew fishing more than I did and tried to become friends with. And dude, I went through some people trying to figure out the roadmap, right? And it didn't, and I'm like, oh no, everybody would tell me. There were certain people who are like, oh man, that person is, and I don't want to say names because I know a lot of these guys still follow me, and if this resonates with you, maybe it's about you, or maybe it's not. I don't know. But but it's like, oh, that guy's bad news, whatever. And I always took the road of I want to give people the benefit of the doubt, right? That's your story. That's not my story. I don't know this guy, but I tell you what, 9 times out of 10. They were right, and if I would have just listened at the beginning, I would not have gone down some of those roads, and so, and so those things disappear. But then I end up finding out that I've got people that are solid people that I've met, and the relationships are strong, and I'm still friends with those people, and it's just an interesting ride to kind of see what flourishes, what doesn't. But if you don't put yourself out there, you never know, right?
Right.
And it's hard sometimes when you get out there, and it's kind of an interesting dynamic with social media and then real life, and how they all intermix. And some people you never meet. I mean, I've got people that know me or I talk to on the internet that I've never met. But anyway, I don't know. That's why I wrote it down. I don't know where it went, but there you go.
I mean, that's a nice little segue into Catfish Wars.
Oh yeah, Catfish Wars.
Catfish Wars.
So
project in motion right now. May or may not take feet, but I mean, old farts fishing.
Yeah, so Catfish Wars is a concept I've been playing with for a few years. I've talked to a few different people, but I started thinking a little bit more of how I want to put the story together and kind of the direction it needs to go. And this is kind of where I'm in that creative side now of just kind of figuring out the concept of what messaging do I want.
Mm-hmm.
And as I do that, I think what I end up coming back to, and again, this is all subject to change, is I have more safety meetings and we figure things out. But
yeah, always get something good out of a safety meeting.
Safety meetings always create lots of thoughts. So
yeah,
gotta be safe.
Yep.
But
safety third.
Third. But I've been thinking I wanted to make a documentary about kind of old farts fishing of how it got started, and where it kind of went from fishing from the bank and just not knowing anything really about fishing. I mean, I have a fishing pole and I did some fishing in the past, but I hadn't fished for 15 years, 20 years, and to just go out and
despite always living by the water, you're right by the bay, and now you moved away from the bay. It's like, oh, this feels a little bit safer now. Ooh.
I don't like the ocean. I don't. It's scary.
For some giant squids there.
Anytime you become part of the food chain is like, no. You see me walking around the jungle where there's like wild animals? No. So to go out in a boat in the ocean, I mean, going to the bay is one thing, but once you get outside the gate, which I've done a few times, I'm still a little uneasy. I'll talk about the Maverick surf competition that I did on a boat one year. That's for another podcast, but I'll talk a little bit about that. That was a blast. But again, part of the food chain. But yeah, old farts fishing is I just want to tell the story of how we got into fishing, how I met people, how I used the internet to kind of learn a lot of different things, and the people I've met along the way, and how we got into the whole catfish scene, and we started doing the tournaments and talk about that. That was an eye-opener, the whole catfish world and how it's being done. And I want to just say Clear Lake because that's where most of our tournaments have been. But talking about that whole environment and what I've learned, what I've seen, the kind of little bit of the drama that's gone with it. But it's more of a documentary of, and I'm sure if I was a bass fisherman, it would be the same thing, just different people. If I was
might be the same
person,
people.
Could be the same people. But, and I've learned this, that no matter what you get into as a hobby, whether it's car racing, which I did, barbecue competitions, which I did, fishing, which I do, is when you get a group of men together, there's always going to be some kind of bullshit drama. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just when you bring a lot of passion. I did some RC stuff for a while, BMX, bicycle racing. But anytime you got competitive guys together doing something, there's going to be shit talking. There's going to be people accused of cheating. There's going to be just all the drama. And I think that's just part of it. It doesn't have to be, but it is. I mean, even golf.
There's always like one or two people that just ruin it for everybody else. Yes. It doesn't matter what you're doing, what you're getting into. Like, you'll have like the 2 to 3 people who are actually doing the organizing and making things a thing, like the people who decide to run the tournaments or run whatever events to provide the space to do the thing. And then you always have the people that ruin it, that are always doing something untold to like somebody. You're just like, could you just stop? Like, you're the reason why we can't have nice things. Yes. Could you just not?
Yes.
And it doesn't matter what you're in, what you do, and everybody is forced to deal with a certain level of it. Because at one point you can just be like, well, I'm just not going to be part of this social circle anymore because, I don't want to deal with the drama going on. But then, like, you move to another one and it's the same shit.
Right.
And Sacramento's so small, sometimes it's just the same people.
Right. And
Like,
that's
how can you ruin multiple things?
and that's the shame of it, because a lot of the times a person or persons, sometimes it's more than one, that are the ones that are put into the negative light, are the most knowledgeable people about it, and the most passionate people. It's just they go about it the wrong way, and
Oh, that's the worst.
and it
Oh
comes
my God,
across
yeah.
negative, and then they even get more upset because the guys that are the experts in that,
Mm-hmm.
I think, we're like not as humble about it, and then and it's just it's kind of interesting dynamic, because I've seen it more than one place. I've seen it in the catfish thing, I've seen it in the barbecue thing, I've seen it where these people are a pillar in that whatever it is they're doing, car racing, whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
but then at the same time they're the most disliked person.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, where did it go wrong, right? And I see it's different with every group on why or what. And not that I'm going to get into all of that detail into my documentary with the old folks fishing, but it's just as we go
But
through
that
and
is
tell
an
the
interesting
story.
phenomenon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just going to tell the story of what we learned, and we're trying to make it light and make it nothing. We're not digging on anybody. We're not making a bad light of anybody. It's just showing our journey that we went through, and there's a lot of good that came out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Joseph Green, a guy that a lot of fishing people know about, that runs the brand that I wear, Hammer Down. He actually had a big thing going on today, in the last few days, about some money they were raising for underprivileged kids for Thanksgiving, to provide meals for them. And he was dumping a lot of his product. And I just sent him a message saying, how much you need? Just, here's a donation.
Mm-hmm.
I have a mystery box coming. I give him
nice.
some money.
Yeah.
He sent me a box. I'm like, he's all, well, what do you want? And I said, I don't care. It's whatever it is, and just make it 2X.
Yeah.
Send me a bunch of 2X stuff. It's for the kids. And,
Right.
he's like, oh, dude, you don't have to do that. I'm like, dude, I just send me something. As far as I might be 2 extra large sweatshirts, and that's it. And I'll be all like, dude, really? No. I saw the box. He sent me a picture of it. It's a pretty big box of stuff. So trying to support Joseph Green, does a lot of good in the fishing community, and he's got a great brand with Hammer Down. And glad to support him. In fact, I have something in the works now. I am coming up with a logo that is an Old Farts Fishing logo, with Hammer Down incorporated somehow in it. I've got a vision, real simple vision, but it's an Old Farts Fishing Hammer Down edition hat that we will sell. And then Joseph and I will talk about proceeds. I'd like to be able to do something where we both make a little bit of money if we can, but do something that's portions of that is donated to some charity of some sort to help kids with fishing or something.
That's good.
But something along those lines. So we'll look for that to come out here soon. And yeah, that's it. Catfish Wars, Old Farts Fishing. We did fishing again at Knight's Landing this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Still getting the striper. Dude, we got
getting those monsters.
We didn't get monsters, but we got big fish. The monsters are those big ones. We were putting some pike minnows, so we went out and caught these little pike minnows that are an invasive species out here that they don't care.
Get the little bastards.
So we get them, we throw them back out there, and those stripers go yum. And so we got 2 huge ones back-to-back weekends. I went out there with Jill one day and sat out there and caught some nice keepers, and so this is like the 4th week in a row where I've gone out there, and this time we changed things up and we trolled for them, which we do a lot out in the bay or in the delta. We'll troll. River's a little tough sometimes just because the depths change drastically, and so you risk losing a lot of gear. But we try to watch the finder and make adjustments along the way, so when things get shallow we adjust and what have you. But we ended up getting some fish, so go check out Old Farts Fishing. Videos posted up this morning on our little adventure there with trolling for striper, and definitely got on some fish. And yeah, so we're still, and then we have a fishing tournament Saturday that we're doing out in Rio Vista over at B&W Resort. Anthony and I are going to enter that striper tournament and see how we do, since we've been doing pretty well, and we'll kind of give ourselves a test of go get some more striper. Now the thing with that tournament, that's not necessarily the biggest fish. So in the morning, early in the morning, they'll announce a slot. They're going to pull a number that says that fish has to be 26 and a half inches, whatever it measures, right? And then the important thing is paying attention to the details of that measurement. Is if it says, say it's a 26 and a half inch fish, is it closest to plus or minus? Or is it 26.5 closest. Anything over is disqualified.
Mm.
So important. Make sure you know that, because one tournament Anthony and I did, we lost the tournament by 9/16 of an inch.
9/16
We were
of an
9/16
inch. Oh my god!
too big
Oh.
for the slot. I think it was like a 27.
That's the first time you've ever been too big.
Right? No, it's totally. Normally, I don't have that problem. It's usually.
Oh yeah, you don't normally have that problem. Sure.
I don't ever have that problem.
The studio audience is laughing pretty hard at that.
Hey, it's not the size. It's not the
She's
size
like,
of your
I
feet.
can't know. I'm not going to confirm nor deny.
I haven't been even looking at comments. I see a few comments up there.
Oh, do we
Let's
have
look at
comments
those.
now?
I know, I gotta see those.
They drive like someone left their phone in your boat.
Oh, yeah, so
Oh,
Anthony,
and JR says toke one, Stoney.
okay.
We can't or safety meetings. We already did the safety meeting.
Yeah, safety meeting, every time, at least with Jay. So here's the kind of cool thing. Anthony is the guy I fish with. So you guys that know Anthony, he will be part of my documentary, and we'll talk about how I actually met Anthony, and how that all came about through Old Farts Fishing. I was so we go back to that relationship thing, right, where I talk about people we've cycled through. Anthony is somebody I met on the river when I started Old Farts Fishing. This will be part of the documentary, but we were giving away shirts and hats and stickers, you name it. We were giving stuff away, and I would tell people, when you see us on the river, just yell out, "Hey, Old Farts Fishing!" And we'll come up and give you, a free shirt or something, as we were trying to grow our following. And Anthony is one of those guys out there with his kids, and my brother and I were out there. I still remember, I was over there in Yuba City at it wasn't the outlet; it was downriver. Boyd's Pump. We were salmon fishing. We didn't catch any salmon because back then I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was just lucky to have the thing in the water and figure out these lures that back bumping or drifting, or I had no idea. We're just throwing it out there. We didn't catch shit. And here comes Anthony drifting downriver, and we're sitting there. He's all, "Hey, Old Farts Fishing." And I'm like,
"Oh, what's up, buddy?"
I'm like, "Oh shit, somebody actually follows us." And I gave him some shirts and stickers. For
real life encounter! Right? Oh my god!
I think that was one of the first times someone recognized the brand of Old Farts Fishing, because we were throwing out content, and I had like hardly no followers, and here comes this guy in a boat, and so now it's kind of interesting. Is it went from that and be like, "Oh my god, surprised," to guys talking to me on the dock, and I'm like, "Dude, who's that again?" I'm like, so many people that will see us, and it's just the brand recognition.
You're just so popular.
Well,
You're just so popular.
At least a little bit. But no, it's just interesting how the brand is growing, and how we're contributing to the community of fishing and stuff. So.
Speaking of brands growing, remember last week when I yelled at you about the ads on Facebook?
Yeah.
And now we have a very noticeable decline.
Oh.
Decline in our viewership. But that's all it took. That's all it took. That's all it took was the algorithms like, we got it for the money this time, Gadget.
So
you didn't need that.
It's interesting though.
I told you.
After I did it.
I told you before.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Sometimes I just have to remember I work for Stoney Stone.
Anything after 420 is off limits.
Be mad when Stoney does Stoney things.
All right. So you're right. Okay, like I'm learning to say that this year. You're right.
You're goddamn right about that.
So now when it comes to driving with Stoney Stone, I just give content. I did one post today of a dumbass driver that parked, so hopefully I didn't mess up our algorithm. But I didn't.
No, that one should be okay.
Yeah. Okay. So. Yes, you can thank Erik for all the content on driving with Stoney Stone. I provide you content for my content. I don't know.
I don't want your content.
You don't like the one today?
Interesting.
The one today was interesting. And I actually put commentary in it, which he'll delete. You won't even hear the content. But so the video will come out at some point. I'm going to let it out of the bag. At some point, Erik will get this in rotation. But we were sitting at a light, taking Jill to a doctor's appointment. And there's a left-hand turn lane, and then we're sitting at the red light. Every lights are red, right? The left-hand turn light turns green. Arrow, green.
Mhm.
car sitting behind him. Our light is red. And I'm like, looking at the guy, green means go. And you hear me talking, green means go. And he's still sitting there. I'm like, looking at Jill, green means go. Go. And then finally the guy behind him like honks. He still didn't go. So when our light turned green, then he decided to go too. So I'm like, he was probably just waiting for another shade of green. I don't know. He was obviously in the turn lane, but that is coming up at some point. But I'm sitting here yelling, go, green means go. Apparently it wasn't loud enough.
No.
But
Nobody cares.
nobody cares. Lots
But
of
that's oh no, I'm keeping that audio in there for sure. For sure, leaving that audio in there. I'll mix the music around it.
there you go.
I know what I'm doing.
Yes, you do. This is why I've always learned you work smarter, not harder. So in that, I find the smart people.
I'm definitely do not work smarter.
You're smarter than I do. And I'm not working harder. So
Yeah.
it's a win-win.
Well, it's definitely not harder, but it's also not smarter. I'm not sure what it is, but it's not. I like stumble.
All right.
I stumble into work.
Stumble.
That's only on weekend jobs.
Weekend jobs, you stumble into work?
Well, yeah.
Or is it just on Tuesdays after the podcast night?
I mean, those are some pretty rough days too. I do like how the job tomorrow is at 4:30. That's nice. I wish there wasn't just one, but
Yeah, well, so tomorrow I have to go into Yuba City tomorrow and go to the weekly MLS meeting because Stoney's photography got chosen as the affiliate highlight.
ooh.
So I thought maybe you'd want to go, but it's at 9 o'clock in the morning. I figured you didn't have any shoots till later in the day. No point in bringing it all the way out there. But I'm going to get talk about us a little bit, talk about what we do, the services we provide.
I know a couple of those realtors up there find me cute and adorable. I can put on the charm.
So
Bring us in some money.
So if you want to show up at this meeting tomorrow at 9 o'clock, you're more than welcome to drive all the way out there and
Pick me up.
pick you up.
It's on the way.
But then I got to go to Grass Valley to go shoot some video with the agent at Grass Valley all day. And then after that, I go back to Oliver's. So I'm going to be busy all day tomorrow. Yeah, exactly. Jill's all happy, and Eric's going to come over tomorrow and go see Grandma and watch Hallmark until just shoot at 4 o'clock.
Not until after Thanksgiving. Like Christmas needs to settle down because we have between 4th of July and Halloween is Halloween season. Then you have a month of Thanksgiving season. Then you have Christmas. Christmas goes after Thanksgiving. Like Black Friday is the black of darkness into what is Christmas.
It's all just blur to me.
Mm-hmm.
We don't pay attention.
I mean, that's usually for everybody.
It's
a rough time of year.
We don't even do Christmas. I mean, Jill and I don't buy each other Christmas presents. We haven't in a long
Not even
time.
a little bit?
Well, it might be something like small, but as far as big tickets, and it was one of those things to where if we wanted it, we got it. It didn't matter. Christmas was just when we made it. And it could be July, it could be January. It was just, so when Christmas came, it was more for the kids. And, but once we have grandkids, that'll all change.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're on this thing about a boy or a girl or whatever. I don't know. We'll cross that bridge if it comes. But she said if it's a girl, we're going to go broke because she will spoil the girl with all kinds of girly stuff. And if it's a boy, I can't wait.
She's going to do the same thing.
She'll do the same. That's the thing. It's just a matter of...
Either way.
But, and for me, it's like I always thought if it's a boy, I'll take them fishing. But you know what? Girls can fish too. There's some great girl fishermen.
Oh, my daughter lucked out because she was the first grandchild for like 7 years.
Spoiled.
So all of grandma's money went right into her. And then there was 3 other grandkids within 6 months of each other. They're all born like super tight.
All right. So,
Spoiling grandkids
Oh.
someday.
camera turned off again.
Yep.
You're in the wide.
Oh, and that's close up of you too.
Yeah. So I do got something else I want to talk about, but we're gonna take a real quick commercial break before I end this.
Fade to black. Ah!
Do you want help marketing your listing on social media? Are you juggling multiple design apps instead of winning more listings? With a marketing kit, you get a library of ready-to-share and customizable marketing materials right alongside your media delivery. When you receive your marketing kit, it's ready to use. All you have to do is add any additional listing information and share it with your clients. No more messing around with zip folders and third-party graphic editors. You can edit, share, and download your marketing kit materials as much as needed. The marketing kit includes social media graphics and videos, sleek property sites with analytics, and printable listing flyers. And the visual media editor makes it easy to customize your graphics so they match your brand and work for every stage of the listing process. The marketing kit saves you time and ensures your listing media looks as good as it can when you share it with your seller and potential buyers.
Yeah, hold on.
So a lot covered today. Some was like on top of my mind, and some of it just went off the rails like normal. But that's what's cool about this podcast is we have no idea what direction it's going to go. There's some other stuff. Look before. Let's look at some comments. Sorry, Skyman.
Rumor has it Stoney steals the baby Jesus from Old Yard displays.
So
no,
Sky,
that's more Erik Time Header shenanigans. Sorry.
Sky is my daughter-in-law. Thanks for sharing the family secrets. I appreciate that.
I do like how we were talking about grandbabies, and then your daughter-in-law pipes in.
Yeah. No, we're being patient. It's gonna happen when it happens, but you know, if I'm waiting, you know, what I'm calculating is once we have a grandchild is I did take last weekend this little kid out. He's like 6 or 7, fishing, and I was like, okay, how soon can I take the grandbabies fishing? Well, the determination for me was, well, they have to be out of diapers because I don't want to deal with the dirty diaper on the boat. So as soon as they can, like, go to the bathroom on their own, they're ready to get in the boat.
Sounds about right.
Throw a life jacket on, put a rod in their hand, and let's go.
Get them out there.
I'm gonna teach them how to get their hands all dirty.
Work it. Yeah.
And then eat a sandwich, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Build up your immune system. But anyway, couple fun facts I want to tell you. Here we go. You ready?
You have fun facts?
Fun facts.
I don't believe you.
Look,
I don't believe these.
Did you know giraffes are 30 times more likely to get hit by lightning than humans?
Yeah, they're closer to the sky. If I was a human by a giraffe, I would be like, let's get underneath this guy.
Okay, so I'll get another one for you.
Okay.
Did you know identical twins don't have the same fingerprints?
Thought they did.
No. So forget that whole thing about, you know, I'm gonna have a twin, I'm gonna go do something bad and then blame it. That doesn't work. So fingerprints actually are kind of almost like rings in a tree. It's all environmentally driven. So like when you're in the womb, your bodies in your womb grow a little bit different. But that time difference, like how your fingers grow or where your skin develops, all that, it's even if it's off a little bit because it's not 100%. One, you know, is going to be born first. It could be, you know, days, you know, difference, minutes difference, but it's different. But it's different enough to where your fingerprints are not the same. You know that?
I did not know that.
See, we're trying to educate you at the same time.
It's going to be more educational.
I want to educate you. So you walk away at the end of the show with at least you learned something. It could be pointless, but you did learn something if you didn't already know.
I wish I would have known, remembered the object name, but apparently they found this cosmic dust cloud that looks like a bat flying in the night sky. It's pretty dope.
Pretty dope.
The telescopes we have nowadays discover some really incredible stuff.
So Erik's into discovering really cool stuff in space, and I'm on to, did you know that ants don't have lungs?
Of course.
They don't.
Why would they have lungs?
Well, because they have to breathe somehow.
Do they?
They breathe, but they don't have lungs. Yeah. they have these things called breath. I looked it up. They have breath through spackets or something. These little like tubes that go through their body. They have like 9 or 10 of them, and that what brings the air into them. It's kind of a weird like deal, but look it up.
Interesting.
Look up Google why do ants have lungs, and you'll see the whole.
I feel
images
this
and
is like
everything.
a setup for something. It's like, oh, Google
It's
this,
not-
and it's like, ooh, blue waffle.
No blue waffles. No 2 girls 1 cup. Jill's looking at me. Blue waffle. Don't do it.
Like,
She-
Why am
why
I?
these questions?
Because they're
Why
random.
these facts?
They're random
Like,
fun facts that you
It's-
think of.
I mean, just dad jokes to be dad jokes. But see, he's blindsided me with them. I could have brought some good
I
dad
wanted to
jokes
blindside
in.
it. See, he'll be more prepared next week with my randomness.
Mm.
Anyway, that's about a minute with Stony Stone. I want to do the shameless plug versions, and then
Oh, yep.
we definitely want to plug away our shameless plugs of our small business owners and people out there trying to make a
Our
living.
sponsors.
So, sponsors, go ahead. I'll let you go first.
Look Behind Film on Indiegogo. Help us with post-production.
The
It's a
list
camera.
is long and prestigious, but Old Farts Fishing, all you guys that support us, appreciate that. Johnson's Bait and Tackle, Man on Champions, Cleaning Solutions. My friend and buddy Anthony Sparks there runs that, and Hook 'em Big Rod and Amazing Fishing, and the list goes on and on. Kevin Brock, doing a lot with Kevin these days, and that's a bit of the fishing group that's going on. And Blue Dream Productions, our company that puts all this on. Hope you like that video. Hammer Down, this guy's Eric's all Hammer Down. Don't forget that. Talked enough about Hammer Down now. Love Joseph Green. Great job doing what you do, promoting fishing out there. And that's about it this time, April test. But if you want to be a guest, I've got a few guests in mind. I've got one I think is going to be a really hot topic here. If I can get her, it's going to be a female. If I can get her to, yes, I have a female.
You are a female?
No.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, I'm good. It's been a while. Are you? Fade to black. No, anyway.
No.
Thanks for tuning in to A Minute with Stony Stone and Time Hatter.
Whoop, whoop.
And until next week, send us your ideas, what you want to talk about, what you want to hear about. And hopefully our 7 subscribers will join in and see what happens. Until next week. That's all I got, man.
Fade to black. Woo, woo.
Well,